what's going on guys? JS Cards here coming at you with a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile, and today we are going to go over my Virtual World deck. Now, I've been playtesting this deck on EDO Pro for a while now, ever since these cards got announced way before Phantom Rage came out, and I knew I had to get these cards as soon as possible when they hit the TCG, and I wanted to profile it. But this is just version 1.0. There's some other cards and things I want to try out, but yeah, stay tuned for future deck profiles because I'm sure we'll be updating this. But this is a solid list, I think, so far. This is basically Calamity's Turbo. Like, the virtual worlds are good, but really you're using them to get into your really strong level 9 synchros, and then from there getting into your calamities and stuff. But I will say their boss synchro monster is insane. Shen Shen, it's so good. But this deck, you know, is just going to get better over time. Even if the ban list hurts this deck with like calamities, I think it's going to survive and it's just going to adapt and become its own thing. All right, so for the monsters, of course, 3 copies of Lulu. This is the best Virtual World monster. She is basically your searcher for the deck, but she does a lot of stuff. She's a level 3 tuner. If this card is in your hand, you can target 1 Virtual World card you control, send 1 Virtual World card of a different type, monster, spell, or trap, from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. Then you can add a Virtual World card for the 3rd type from your deck to your hand. Then after that, for the rest of this turn, you can only special summon rank or level 3 or higher monsters, which isn't a huge drawback, but just so you know, it does lock you in. Next up, 3 copies of Virtual World Nian Nian. Some of these names I'm not going to know how to say, so I apologize. If a level 3 monster is normal or special summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card as a tuner. It's banished when it leaves the field, but for the rest of the turn, you can only special summon level or rank 3 higher monsters, so again, it locks you in, but that's not bad. If this card is banished, you can target one of your other banished cards and shuffle it back into the deck, so another really powerful card there. After that, 3 copies of Lao Lao. Lao Lao is a level 6 tuner, which is nice. This has a similar effect to Lulu, where if it's in your hand, you can target another Virtual World card you control, send another Virtual World card of a different type from your deck to the graveyard, and special summon out Lao Lao. But then you can special summon out 1 Virtual World monster that's in your graveyard in defense position. Next up, 3 copies of Gigi. Gigi is actually a worm, so that's kind of interesting because you have psychic and worm monsters, so you have a nice variety of like graveyard-based effects, and then they get effects when they're banished, so it's a very interesting archetype. Again, very similar effect to where you can target a Virtual World card you control, send another one of a different type from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, you can special summon out Gigi. But then during the end phase of this turn, you can add 1 Virtual World monster from your graveyard back into your hand. Then I only played 2 copies of Lily. Again, same effect as the other ones, but when you select that 3rd type, it goes from your deck to the graveyard. You could play 3 if you wanted to. I might even put a 3rd one in to replace the proxy that I have right now until I get that card in the mail. I am playing 2. It's the only one that I'm playing 2 of, but you could easily just play 3 of everything if you wanted to. Then just for the support cards and like psychic cards, I am playing 3 copies of Wielder and the 1 Tracker. 3 Wielder might seem like too much, but it's a free special summon. Same with Tracker, and this deck is very focused on getting into your rank 3s, getting into your level 9 synchros and stuff like that. So I think the quicker that we can get into those extra deck monsters, the better. So I just decided, why not go hard with Wielder and Tracker? And same with the Speedroid engine. So we have Taken Tom board and the Terratop. Yeah, going a little bit old school with these cards, but they're great level 3s, so I thought I'd include them in the deck. And for our hand traps, 3 copies of Nibiru and 3 copies of Effect Veiler. You could play Impermanence instead of one of these, especially because it just got the reprint in Maximum Gold, but If you're on more of a budget, these are great hand traps. You can play other ones as well. Ashes, Droll Locks, things like that. All right, moving on to the spells. I play 3 copies of Virtual World City. So this card's awesome. It lets you place 1 Virtual World Gate card from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone. Then you can apply any of the following effects in sequence based on the number of Virtual World Gate cards you control. If you have 2 or more, all Virtual World monsters you control gain 200 attack. 3 or more, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. 4, special summon up to 4 Virtual World monsters with different names from your extra deck. Yeah, this card's really great. I mean, it's got 3 really good abilities that help out your other Virtual World monsters, and it's a great way to get out your spells and traps. Speaking of which, I play 3 copies of Virtual Gate Kinglong, and that's where my proxy comes in. You might be able to get away with playing 2, but I just recommend 3. This card lets you banish 1 Virtual World card from your graveyard, then target 1 face-up monster on the field, negate its effects until the end of this turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Virtual World monster from your deck to your hand, then send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. Then 3 copies of Pot of Desires. You want to draw deeper into your deck, and this is a great way to do so. And then for our one-ofs, the 1 Emergency Teleport, because you have so many different targets, and Upstart Goblin to make this a 39-card deck. All right, so for the one and only trap card of the deck, 3 copies of Virtual World Gate Chooch? Not sure how to say the name, but this is another great card. You can target 1 face-up card on the field, shuffle 2 of your banished Virtual World cards with different names from each other into the deck, then destroy that card. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Virtual World monster you control. Increase or decrease its level/rank by 3 until the end of this turn. This is an amazing card because you can pop a card, get your resources back, and then do some level manipulation, which is nuts. And then, you can synchro or overlay as needed. So really powerful cards here, and a lot of them are only super rares or commons. So if you can get the Lulus and get a few of the extra deck monsters that they have, the rest is really cheap, and you probably already have them if you've cracked open some packs. So that is it for the main deck. It's 40 cards. Let's move on to the extra deck. Okay, so starting off with the Synchros, I play the 1 Coral Dragon along with the Stardust Charge Warrior. These are just really decent level 6s to get into that also let you draw cards. From there, you can use these as stepping stones to get into your level 9s. For the Virtual World Synchros, I have 1 copy of Virtual World Beast Juju. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects if you have 2 or more monsters in your graveyard with the same original type and attribute but different names. You can banish 2 monsters from your graveyard with the same original type and attribute but different names, then target 1 card on the field and send it to the graveyard. That's nice because it doesn't say destroy, it says send, which can come in handy. And it's another good level 6 with 2400 attack that can't be targeted most of the time. So very powerful. But then for the boss monster, one of them really, we have Virtual World Shen Shen. This card is a walking macrocosmos, which is insane. On top of that, though, it does let you add cards that are banished back into the graveyard. You can also banish 2 monsters in your graveyard to special summon this card from your graveyard. I love this card a lot. I am only playing the 1 copy, though, but if Calamities gets hit by the ban list, I'll just remove the Calamities from this deck, and I might be more focused on this card because it's really powerful. For the other level 9s, I have, of course, the Croco Dragon, the Vermilion Mech, and 1 Trishula. For the last Synchro, I actually play the level 12 Geomath Mech Final Sigma. It's unaffected by everything, and you actually can go into it pretty easily with this deck, so I thought, why not? You could replace this if you wanted to, but this card's awesome, and it can guarantee games. Moving on to the Exceeds, I play 1 Virtual World Fan. You can detach 2 materials from this card, then target 1 face-up card your opponent controls and 1 card in either graveyard and banish them. And then if this card is destroyed, you can special summon 2 Virtual World monsters of the same type and attribute from your deck. After that, Virtual World Shell Jaja. You can detach a material from this card, then select one face-up monster you have, and then it cannot be destroyed by battle until the end of your opponent's turn. And then once per turn, if this card battled an opponent's monster, you can banish that monster if you have 2 or more monsters in your graveyard of the same type and attribute. Then one Virtual World Dragon Long Long. Your opponent cannot target this card with effects while it has material. And when your opponent activates an effect, you can remove 2 materials from this card to negate the activation. For other just really good rank 3s, I have the one number 75 and the one Breaksword. And then for the last Exceed, of course, we're playing the 2 True King of All Calamities. I love this card a lot, and it can be very difficult once you have your board set up and you drop a Calamities for your opponent to do anything. But yeah, guys, I really like the Virtual World archetype a lot. I wish they would have kept the name Datascape. I think that sounds way cooler. But Virtual World, hey, I guess it is what it is. They're still very powerful cards. I'm excited to see what people come up with for this deck in the future. I'm definitely going to be testing things out and reshaping this deck as time goes on. And hopefully you enjoyed this first version of it. If you enjoyed this deck profile, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more. Stay tuned for more Yu-Gi-Oh! News, deck profiles, and openings, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.